Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live.
Good health, everyone. How are you doing? I'm going to go get my mic, so be patient with me while I get my mic. I still don't know how to use this mic, so I'm gonna. This is the pattern. I've got this thing called patterns, but I haven't read the book yet. Oh well. Ooh, it's next to the heat. All right, got my mic here. Let's see. Hi, Mike. How are you? My mic is a person. Hi, Mike. Good morning. Oh, wait. Bring you up here. Yes. Good health, everyone. Good health. Let me just put this on. Good health, everyone. How are you doing today? I missed you. I missed our Sunday talks. I'm so glad to be here. I'm not going to stay too long because I took on a job, because I emptied out my bank account on my sissy pool, which I do not regret. However, I need to put money back in bank accounts, and so I am forced to work. And I asked God, before I went to vacation, I said to God, when I come back, I'm going to need a job. I hope we're going to have a lesson on talking to God. You guys got to work with me and learn to talk to God, right? Not that you guys don't. I think everyone prays, and I think everyone begs God, right? I don't know if you guys trust God enough to talk to him. Just talk to him. You know, when I was with my sister, she has this thing where she loves to receive gifts, but she doesn't understand gratitude. And yet she's grateful. So it's a weird thing that I notice with her, only because she's special needs. I don't know if I would notice it with anybody else, because anybody else covers up their relationship with God. They cover it up, meaning they will scream and shout God, but do they understand that every breath you take is God? Do they understand that if something bad happens, that is God too? And so my sister, when I was with her, I taught her, because there's a lot of things I noticed with her that I never noticed before. This visit was different for me in terms of like my eyes and my feelings and her growth. Like, there's so much that has changed with her that I'm like more comforted that who's taking care of her is like so right. And then so I would say to her, we would be driving, and she would start to complain. But I realized she only complained when she felt a certain type of way. The complaining, 'cause she's a Cancer, the complaining came with something that she felt was negative, but it wasn't going to happen for a week, right? So I said, we just finished eating. And didn't you enjoy your meal? And she said, yes, I did, sis. I enjoyed my meal. Okay. So can we say, thank you, God? And she, right away, one thing, Tony, don't hesitate. Thank you, God. And I said, okay. Okay. Can we say, thank you, God, for my meal? And she would say, thank you, God, for my meal. Still crying. And I was like, okay. Like, let's learn to have words of gratitude. Maybe that's what it should be. It should be words of gratitude. Words of gratitude. Say thank you. In any case, we went the whole visit doing that. And she learned nothing. She learned absolutely nothing. No, I'm kidding. It doesn't matter what she learned. I had to give her the lesson, right? And so she learned nothing. She's a cancer. They just love to whine and cry and she's more innocent than other cancers because as you grow up, you learn to control all of that. And so I give her grace because she is special needs. So I give her emotional grace. That's it. I don't give her grace in other ways. Keeping herself clean is mandatory. Wiping her ass and her coochie, mandatory. You don't give grace when it comes down to cleanliness. Taking a bath, no grace. Get in the tub. But I could take a bath in the morning. Oh, you could. You could. But you won't get in the tub. So things like that. So I emptied out several credit cards on this girl with no regret. I just remember thinking, I want to go where I'm loved and celebrated. And this girl absolutely loves me. Every time I go, these people are like, you're all she talks about. And I go, I know. I know. And I'm not there to see it, but I feel it. So when people tell me, like, you're not shocking me, I know, but I feel it. So I went there, emptied out my bank account, and I was supposed to go see my boss on Wednesday. But I got back early afternoon, came home. My house was full of hurricane stuff. It's disgusting. It smelled, had this faint smell to it. Like, when someone has a body odor, but they're clean. But when you get close to them, it's that weird body odor, and it's like you smell, but they don't overtly smell. You have to get close up to them. That was my house. And it had this dingy, I felt like there were spirits in the house that was like, hey, she's gone. And I was like, y'all gotta go. I already brought some brooms. I'm gonna pound these walls. I don't know who's in this house. Get the F out of my house. And then I went to cleaning. And then I went to go get something to eat and had to come back and had to clean some more. Because the first thing I did was clean the floors. Because I had to, because as you walk, it was a little sticky. And I was like, nope, got to clean the floors first. Went out, got some food, came back, and then wiped down the refrigerator, wiped down the countertop, just wiped everything down. Hold on a second. And so I went to my boss's job the next day just to go visit, not to work, child, not to work, just to go visit. And as I'm visiting, she's having a meeting. So I went to sit down. The meeting was pinpointing some people's mistakes. And I looked at her and I said, do you want me to leave? Uh, you want me to sit over there? And she goes, no, because you're going to be working here. And I was like, yeah, that's not happening. Right? No, that's not happening. But I didn't say that to her because she was in the meeting. When her front desk just quit. And I thought, well, I could work the front desk. Huh. So I don't know who asked who. I don't know if I don't know if I said to her, "Hey, do you need a front desk clerk?" Or if she said, "Do you want to work the front desk?" I don't remember who, and I have a real keen memory, so I think it's interesting that that is something I can't remember. And I say, "Yep," without hesitating. "Yep, I'll do it. Yep," because I know when God shows up. I ask God that when I get back, will He allow me to work? Because I have to replenish all the money that I spent on Sissy Pool. I have to do right by Sissy Pool. And I did. I did. I held nothing back. Oh, can I tell you guys something? Oh, I'm sorry. We're supposed to be doing a book, but I'm sorry. I held nothing back from her. The last time I went to visit her, I made a mistake. And we went to a store. I always go to this particular store. It's called Dee Dee's. I love Dee Dee's. If you're ever in Los Angeles, go to Dee Dee's. Everything is so cheap. So I went there. I spent $176 on her and came back with outfit top and bottom, top and bottom, top and bottom, top and bottom. I don't spend a lot of money. Everything was either $2.99, $3.99, $4.99, top and bottom, top and bottom. And she's easier to shop for, right? And so I spent $176 when I've got underwears. Let's go back and buy underwears. So it was about $200 total in this Dee Dee's and suitcase full of clothes. I promise you. I tell you no lie. Socks, suitcase full of clothes. Oh, sneakers. I only got one pair of sneakers because I had to get myself a pair of shoes. Because if I spend on her, usually if I spend on her, I spend on myself. Usually. But this time I said no. No, but I did get myself a pair of shoes because I didn't bring any toe-in shoes. Okay, whatever. Last time I was here, we went to Dee Dee's and she picked up a pair of slippers, cutest slippers I've ever seen. And as we were going to the checkout, I was worried about money. Whereas this time I was not worried because I knew I had to go packed with money for her. Last time I was worried about money. And I said, okay, put those slippers aside. I told the cashier. I wound up not taking it. We get back, and the only thing she wanted was these slippers. It's the only thing she wanted. And when I saw the disappointment in her face, I was like, I did something wrong here. Like, in my selfishness or my uncaring, or my money issues with this time, I said, I couldn't have, I believed I couldn't afford the slippers. I believe I could have afford the slippers. So all year, right up until this visit, I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking about what do I want for her, not what can I afford for her, what can I do for her, what do I want for her? And I realized I want for her to be happy. That's what I want for her. So in any case, she kept crying about these damn headphones. Finally go to Best Buy. I get these headphones, wireless, beautiful. Just works from anybody's phone. I said, perfect. I asked the girls, the women that take care of her, can I get Tony a phone? And they were like, don't do it. Don't do it. And I was like, all right, fine. But she really needs a phone. And anywho, she needs a phone. But Tony can be problematic, so I understood. So I didn't get her phone, but I got her the headphones, and she can listen her headphones on anybody else's phone, right? And she said, I need a charger. She had a wire attached, but she said, I need a charger. And I said, yeah, no. And she goes, I need a charger like that. And I said, no, they have chargers at the house. And she panics and she whines and she goes, they won't let me use the charger, sis. They won't let me use the charger. I said, that's ridiculous. They're going to let you use the charger. Ultimately, she takes her charging piece to see and she puts it in. We had matching sweaters, and she puts it in a sweater, and we can't find the piece to charge. But I had to see, so I would just charge her phone at night. And so we go to the post office, had to deliver some stuff back to me. We go to the post office, and the guy has a charger that she said she needed that plugs into the wall, plus the seat. And so it was $12. I'm at the end of the trip. At this point, I don't want to spend $12. I don't even have cash on me. I just came out of the post office, ship boxes back to myself. I just don't have the cash. Well, turns out these street vendors take cash out, right? So I said, how much is this? He said, $12. Tony's real quiet. She knows better at this point. She says the wrong thing. We're walking away with no charger. She's real quiet. And then she goes, I go 12. He goes $12, and he goes, and I take Cash App. I said, all right, if you take Cash App, boom, 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 send it to him. Picked up the charger, and we got in the car, and this made her happy. This made the whole trip. This was the slippers of last year. And I said to God, I don't want to make that same mistake. So please let me see it. Please let me see the one thing that I could leave her with that will make her happy. I don't want to have another slipper incident. We got in the car, and I've never seen anybody so happy. I wish I could describe it to you, but she was just so happy. The charger and the C-type wire to the charger, it made the whole trip. Thought I'd share that with you. I also want to share this with you before I get. Does anybody know what chapter I'm on? Are we on a new chapter? Let me see. New chapter. Why do I feel like we're on a new chapter? By Way of Rights. 169. By Way of Rights. This should be interesting because it's performers of spiritual, emotional, and physical well-being, enhancing that, interpreters of symbols, tarots, crystals, astrology, numerology, and other physical means by way of rights. Page 169, guys. But before I play that, let me say hi to anybody that's listening. Oh, hi, everyone. 169. Thank you, Angela. I'm so glad I stopped at a chapter. Oh, and I do want you guys to listen to this.
Power on. GABA Good speaker. Bluetooth pairing mode. Your Bluetooth device is connected. Your life with. Become the person you want to spend. It has nothing to do with you.
Hold on, guys. I don't know why this happens sometimes. Sorry. 9:30. Oh, 9:32.
Pieces of advice that changed my mentality. 1. Stop being afraid to spend money. You go and spend 100. Maximum volume. You had a good time with your friends. You spend $1,000 to travel. So what? Your time on this planet is a gift. You can always get back money, but you can't get back time. 2. One of the biggest mistakes you can make is believing that love is finding the right person. In reality, love is about becoming the right person. Don't go looking for the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. Become the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. The people who deserve you will naturally gravitate towards you. 3. 85 to 90% of life is just showing up. That's it. If you show up, there's a chance that something might happen. You must leave your comfort zone and try new things, because truly, you'll never know what opportunities you're missing out on until you just go out and do it. Lastly, full. You will always have problems. You will always have some sort of conflict going on in your life. You must learn to enjoy life while still solving them. There is beauty in everything we experience. You just need to adjust your perception. You can either cry in the storm or dance in the rain. Drop a 100 if you watched this far, and if this video helped in some way, this account is definitely for you. 4 pieces of advice that changed my mentality. 1. Stop being afraid to spend money. You go out and spend $100 on good food and drinks, so what? You had a good time with your friends. You spend $1,000 to travel, so what? Your time on this planet is a gift. You can always get back money, but you can't get back time. 2. One of the biggest mistakes you can make is believing that love is finding the right person. In reality, love is about becoming the right person. Don't go looking for the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. Become the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. The people who deserve you will naturally gravitate towards you. 3. 85 to 90% of life is just showing up. That's it. If you show up, there's a chance that something might happen. You must leave your comfort zone and try new things, because truly, you'll never know what opportunities you're missing out on until you just go out and do it. Lastly, full. You will always have problems. You will always have some sort of conflict going on in your life. You must learn to enjoy life while still solving them. There is beauty in everything we experience. You just need to adjust your perception. You can either cry in the storm or dance in the rain. Drop a 100 if you watched this far, and if this video helped in some way, this account is definitely for you. 4 pieces of advice that changed my
All right, guys. I hope that helped.
power on.
I hope that helped. All right, now. Let's get started. By way of rights. What does that mean? By way of rights. I wonder if rights are rituals. By way of rights. All right, let's take a look. Her body split while she meditated on him. Elohim, Elohim, Elohim. The right separated from the left, each half compelled toward an opposing vector. Elohim, Elohim, Elohim. Then came new orientation. Her right eye, directed, took the lead whenever she was to spiritually see or read. And she began to hear etheric word sounds, first through her left ear, Elohim, Elohim, Elohim. Her heart burst while she meditated to surrender, red and spherical. The 12 heart drops disperse. They were drawn together again to be absorbed, then absorbed into the projected stream of her returning. Elohim, Elohim, Elohim. It is a very revealing thing to be involved in tarot. It is not just a device by which we divinate and tell fortunes. There's a spiritual and physiological aspect of the tarot that is fantastic. These very cards are symbolic in finding one's true inner self. So asserted Henry Rucker of Chicago in an interview. with his friends, Dane Headley, in the early 1970s. Presently a lecturer and a teacher in spiritual development, Henry describes his earlier work with tarot and palmistry. One day I said, "How about it, God? Can I quit?" I just walked up and quit the post office and the Board of Education and never looked back. That was 1968. I had been working for the post office and I had a reputation. He never does any work. All my supervising coworkers would always come and pull me out of a work section for counseling. What you see about my kids? Co-workers would complain and not want me for their co-worker. If people were going to come up and ask me about their families, I reflected, if I was going to do all this, why should I stay here in this place that I really hate? Henry took college courses, but these brought him no satisfaction. He had a strong urge to utilize the intuitive abilities, but I was afraid to go out and say, "I see this about you." I needed a hook. In 1954, a book on palmistry caught his attention. I learned palmistry, and I became an expert, they say. That started me on that particular path. There was a need to be seen in a different light. My first wife was a brilliant girl, a, a chemistry and economics major, heavy, heavy, heavy. She played the cello, the piano, the organ, and was into photography. We used to have people come over. Malcolm X, John, Ali were great friends, though I was not a Muslim. We had discussion groups, not academic. Reading is not my thing. They read, and they were talking about Marcel Proust, Joyce, Jean Paul, Starr. I felt inadequate. I said, I need something for myself. Everybody is an expert. Oh, sorry, guys. Henry explains how, using palmistry at gatherings, he began reading people. If a person throws his hands up, I take a mental picture of it and I got it. I became the center of attention, whereas I did not try to keep up with them academically. I had my own thing. So I had a lot of attention. People will say, "What do you see about this? Tell me about myself." From 54 on, I started to use that as my life of the party, my thing. No one competed with me, and everybody wanted to know what I was into. Everybody wants to be recognized. After that point, I was never the one who would sit back. My wife said I began to dominate the conversations. Henry first taught palmistry, then tarot. Teaching people how to meditate on tarot followed. And then we began teaching psychic development. That's what Jason and I are doing right now. I love Jason. Let me text him right now. Jason is such a good friend. You know, if you could find that one friend, value that one friend. Don't make it about yourself. Hold on a second. Okay. And then Henry began teaching psychic development. That's what Jason and I are doing right now. It's really fun to do this. And lecturing as a palmist and as a psychic. It's not just a tarot, Henry concluded in his talks with Healy. Philosophically, yes, these cards mean something. But more important, symbolism has a fantastic effect on the subconscious. It has a way of bringing the personality in tune with the higher self through the agency and the vehicle of the self-conscious. Now, I do want to tell you guys, the personality that I have, had it not been for tarot, I don't know where I would be. Doing tarot has really allowed me to not care so much, not worry so much, to understand that spiritually God is everything, to understand that I am in control of my good and my bad. I control my evil because we all have evil in us. And I control my good. And no one can take advantage of me, right? If I give freely, but you don't get to take advantage of me. And that every day is a lesson. And I learned how to operate with people through tarot. There was a time I wouldn't even leave my house. I know Melissa Burton did this too. I wouldn't leave my house unless I pulled cards on myself. And if I saw that I was going to have a bad day, I stayed out of the fray. I saved myself. And without tarot, I don't think I would have survived life. Like, I needed tarot to get me through life. I would be spending my whole time going, why do people hate me? Why do people hate me? Not realizing that what people hate is the light. But also, someone that has light, don't get it twisted, they can turn that light to burn you. And so if I didn't know that there was a light, but use the energy innocently to burn people that hurt my feelings, then I would be at this stage in my life today thinking I was evil. I was the devil. I created havoc, right? But when you become aware because of tarot, you become aware. And you become aware of all parts of you, especially if you study the major arcanas. The first 22 cards are where you can use it and embrace life and really see parts of you if you accept it, right? If the devil card comes up for you, especially in a reading, if a devil card comes up and then you hear me say, do you drink? Do you do drugs? You know, the devil card is coming up because there's addiction issues. Addiction also could mean latching on to someone's personality, latching on to a person you can't let go. That's all addiction bound energy. You're bound to something, right? And I don't bring it up to embarrass you. I bring it up to free you. Because if spirit says this is a problem, even though she's calling about her job, calling about her relationship, calling about her children, if God says, please, this is a problem, mention it, I have to mention it. And you can't lie. Can't lie to me. Because then I'll be like, all right, I'm not challenging you, but there's an addiction issue here. So we can talk about it in private, safely. No one's listening. It's just you and I. You could pretend like it's not a problem, but it's affecting your job, your relationships with children and other relationships. And once I get them to recognize that the lie alone is where the problem is, just acting like you don't drink is a problem. No, child, I'm blessed. I do not drink. And Spirit is like, get on her, Tracy. I'm like, oh my God, Spirit. So I just say, well, I'm not trying to convince you to open up about it. I'm trying to tell you this is what Spirit sees. And if this is what Spirit sees, you got to handle this before you handle anything. And ultimately, they will confess. Well, it's not that I drink, Tracy. I take, a glass of wine a day. I'm like, oh, that means you're a drunk. Well, I don't need it. But you take it every day. You're a drunk. Well, I don't like to use those words. That's okay. They're my words. But you might need help because it's compromising you. And tarot is the very thing that helped me to realize my negativity. With people not liking me so much, I should have been a drunk. Period. Point blank. But I saw the addiction card come up throughout the years and knew, oh, okay, all right, I can't do what my family history has been like. I have to watch what's in my bloodline. I was saying on Friday on my morning show, by the way, I really feel like Friday's morning show was hilarious. And then there was that the one with Judge Mathis? The one with Judge Mathis is even more hilarious. I really like that one, if I must say so myself. But we were, no, it was the one with Judge Mathis, whichever one that was. And I said, if Judge Mathis has a son that's gay, there's a potential that is in him too. Then I found out, after the fact, I found out he has a brother. Judge Mathis has a brother that's gay. So it's really swirling because it's in your DNA, right? And it's a weird thing that DNA comes through the bloodline. Well, so does addiction. It comes through the bloodline. You know what else I figured out? I just figured this out the other day. You know how you get these weird, it's usually men, not usually women, that will like cut up body parts and need to eat them, right? And we're all appalled by it, don't get me wrong. But then I found out, was it back in the Roman days? In the UK, I mean, not the Roman, let's not go back that far. I think it was back in the UK, uh, back, that eating human flesh was kind of normal. And I thought about that. And I said, is that why Jeffrey Dahmer needed to eat? Because was it in his DNA? Right? In any case, I digress. I do that a lot. Sorry, guys. You know me, I digress. And I always lose my bell. Can somebody explain to me why I can never find my bell? So annoying. All right. Sue Event experience with the Ouija board was short lived. Her older sister brought it home, and after a brief interlude, her mother threw it out. But not before Sue heard voices and picked up spirits through the board. In that content, she met her guide. She was 17. Before I used the Ouija board, I didn't have a single voice. The guides work through me when I sing. Sue has meditated since she was 12. Even then, she felt she had lived more than one lifetime. Her childhood home is Ohio. She had recently settled in Ithaca, New York. She studied metaphysics and received a doctorate. She works with guides. One named Bruce writes through her. While looking at a person, she receives pictures. I pick up what the person has created for himself. Sue can see what a person is doing who is geographically miles away from her. And she has created mental illusions which another has viewed. Sue counsels and teaches through the tarot cards, through automatic writing and direct psychic readings. She's also a practitioner of magic. She describes as one of her objectives, I want to help people to realize that the source of happiness comes from within. And then they can create it for themselves. The source of happiness comes from within. It's very interesting. Which brings me back to this point.
Power on. Gather the speaker. Bluetooth pairing mode. Your Bluetooth device is connected. 4 pieces of advice that changed my mentality. 1. Stop being afraid to spend money. You go out and spend $100 on good food and drinks, so what? You had a good time with your friends. You spend $1,000 to travel, so what? Your time on this planet is a gift. You can always get back money, but you can't get back time. 2. One of the biggest mistakes you can make is believing that love is finding the right person. In reality, love is about becoming the right person. Don't go looking for the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. Become the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. The people who deserve you will naturally gravitate towards you. 3. 85 to 90% of life is just showing up. That's it. If you show up, there's a chance that something might happen. You must leave your comfort zone and try new things, because truly, you'll never know what opportunities you're missing out on until you just go out and do it. Lastly, full. You will always have problems. You will always have some sort of conflict going on in your life. You must learn to enjoy life while still solving them. There is beauty in everything we experience. You just need to adjust your perception. You can either cry in the storm or dance in the rain. Drop a 100 if you watched this far, and if this video helped in some way, this account is definitely free.
The account is called Empower Genie, Gienne. For anybody that wants to know. And I played that again because Sue Event said, I want to help people to realize that the source of happiness comes from within. And they can create it for themselves. That's so pretty. I really like that. All right. On to the next one. Oh, I'm supposed to go exercising today. I have to work, but I've got to get to exercising. I have to exercise. Oh, a little pain, and only exercise will cure this pain. Kenneth Dickerson writes, many times people ask me if they can use the I Ching cubes for gambling on numbers, horses, or whatever. I tell them you could use it for that purpose, but it doesn't guarantee you will win. These tools, I Ching, tarot card, astrology, etc., were not given to mankind for the purpose of gambling. In a sense, they take the gamble out of a situation when you use them properly. This is ancient wisdom given to humanity to help us make right decisions in the way we live our lives. Kenneth is a New York City astrologer and Kirtland photographer. I don't know what that means. Curland photographer, who teaches divination techniques to individuals and groups. He is the inventor of the I Ching cubes and astro stones, which are divination tools. The hell? Hold on a second. I Ching cubes. I know I Ching, but I thought I Ching cubes. Oh, no, I've never seen the I Ching cubes. I know I Ching, but I don't know if you guys know I Ching. I Chings are these little symbols that have 3 rows, and the 3 rows could look any way. It could be 3 straight lines. It could be 2 broken lines, a straight line, 2 broken lines. It could be 2 lines, 2 broken lines. Doesn't matter. There's 1,000 formations of the I Ching. I didn't know it was a cube, but I think it's very interesting. And so I learned, this is old fashioned maybe, I learned to do I Ching with quarters, right? Face up is a straight line. Face down is 2 lines. And when you do it 3 times, you will get a pattern, right? And that pattern, let's say it's 3, it's always 3 lines. So the pattern, let's say the pattern is 2 broken lines side by side, 3 times. That symbol will give you the answer that you need. But I didn't realize it was a cube or a hexagram. We should go over that one day. I like I Ching. I used to have an I Ching thing that would give the explanation, or I had it in a book or something. All right, I'll find it again. Does anybody know the I Ching? It's very interesting. And it keeps you kind of busy, especially in the beginning stages of divination. I would definitely suggest the I Ching. But apparently, Kenneth is a New York City astrologer who teaches divination techniques to individuals and groups. He is the inventor of the I Ching cubes, also astro stones. Let me look that up. I never heard of astro stones. Astro stones. Images. No, astro stones. Why is that? Astro stones? Is astro stones? Oh, let me see. Oh, yes, I did mean astro stones. So what's happening here? Oh, astro stones? Let me see. Astral stones and crystals and more. Oh, astral stones must deal with crystals? I never heard of this before. Hmm. These are so pretty. Does anybody love stones? I am obsessed with stones. Just love them so much. Okay. All right. Let's all right. I don't know what this is. I'm just gonna follow this account. Like to follow accounts. Let me see if I can get back to what are astral stones. Astral stones must be stones associated with astrology, I guess. Let me see if the book will tell me. He's the creator of I Ching and Astro Stones. So weird. All right. And anywho, which are divination tools. I use tarot cards and astrology. I wouldn't consider myself an expert in any of these because as you use them, you find out there is so much more. Now, that's a good point. That's a really good point. There's always something in tarot. I don't care if you're doing it for 10 years that all of a sudden you never saw before, or you see it for the first time, or you get somebody else's interpretation of a card that you knew a certain type of way, and somebody new will come along and get a whole different interpretation. And you're like, I never thought of it that way. The one thing about divination with tarot is that you constantly grow. Nothing ever stays the same. I was I will probably be a student of those things as long as I am on the planet. In his early 20s, Kenneth became very depressed about society. Who else gets depressed about society? I am so disappointed in society. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just rambling on today. I just heard that Breonna Taylor's, um, a couple of the officers were, released from having exonerated from having any responsibility in Breonna's death, right? And so I wrote to everyone on my IG. I didn't post it. Maybe I should post it now that I'm thinking about it. And I wrote that we don't care enough. We don't care enough to follow through. And they know we don't care enough. And so if you notice the pattern, they only wait 24 months. And in 24 months, you will hear the officer is released from jail. The officer is, exonerated. George Floyd's literal killer, got released this month. The one that put his knee on this man's neck and stopped him from breathing got released from jail. Because we as a culture do not stay on people's necks. And so maybe we can't change the things and the way we operate. And that's the disappointment that I have. But we have Shanquilla's case that we still want justice for. And maybe as a group, maybe Shanquilla's case could be the case where we go back in and demand justice. But as a culture, sometimes I get disappointed because we don't know how to stay focused on justice. We'll talk about Judge Mathis and his ridiculous divorce. We'll talk about the diddler and notice how he's still not arrested. We'll talk about Biggie and Tupac. But we don't stay focused on current injustices particularly that involves law enforcement. And here we are. They always get released from prison within 24 months or less, and there's nothing we could do about it. There's nothing we even try to do about it once they're even released, right? And I wish we could stay a little focused on making sure these people do good time in jail. I say that to say because why? Because Kenneth says sometimes he's disappointed in the human experience. In the early 20s, Kenneth, hi, incognito. In the early 20s, Kenneth became depressed about society. Reading a book on cosmic consciousness changed him. It gave me hope. I knew the world was not going to be destroyed. He became involved in spiritual groups. He gathered more information from the Rosicrucians on cosmic consciousness, and he read about reincarnation. In reading books from all different groups, I felt like I already knew this information. It reminded me of something I had somehow forgotten. Kenneth tells of when I started my own business, a picture frame shop. I had training in artwork. I painted. But in 1973, I decided I had had it with the art and cut it out. I started to get more in the present time. A girlfriend said, "Why'd you stop painting?" I said, "I know, I'm not supposed to be painting." I knew it in my guts. She said, "Did you ask the I Ching?" And I said I didn't have to because I knew it in my guts. She insisted I ask the I Ching. The I Ching agreed. My goal is to turn people on to ancient line, to teach people how to read themselves and for themselves. Something's very interesting here. I'd like to point out that most people believe that you're not getting a good reading unless you are reading the cards. And most people don't understand that reading the cards is about a divination tool, but you have to go with the impressions and the inner voice and your gift to finish the reading. If you depend too much on the cards, then you're not a good reader. You gotta go deeper. You gotta know the impressions that are coming to you when you're doing a reading. And you gotta learn to trust the extras that are coming through when you're doing a reading. I say, read your damn selves. Read yourself, read yourself, read yourself. Get comfortable with the cards. Trust that if the cards are telling you something bad is about to happen, trust it. That means if you get a bad card and you get a sickness card, well, then you have to know that something by way of sickness, could have been COVID, could still be COVID, is coming to you. So if you don't have it now, then let's prep for COVID, meaning let's start putting that mask on. And you ain't got to tell people I did my own cards. My own card saw me getting sick. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to start with the mask because COVID is strong out here again for the summer. If it's not the mask, you know what your body has always been trying to tell you. So if it's lack of exercise, then you better start exercising. If it's lack of vitamins, then you better start taking your vitamins. If it's never eating roughage or cook food that you cook, then you better start cooking. But you know, like, let's not act crazy. You know if you have diabetes, you know if you have high blood pressure, right? You know if your liver is taking on too much, right? So then you have to be like, oh, the cards are telling me I'm going to get sick. Okay, if the cards are telling me I'm going to get sick and I know I have high blood pressure, I'm going to go see my doctor. I'm going to see what my numbers look like. I'm not going to stroke out. I'm not going to let myself stroke out because my cards are telling me, oh, something bad is about to happen by way of your health. You don't need to see a doctor. Sorry, you don't need to see a psychic. You can learn to read these cards all by yourself. And I promise you, the 21 major arcanas will cover everything. I promise you, it's really all you need. The other cards assist the majors. All right, guys. I got to get ready for work. So my intention was to always just do an hour. If anyone wants a reading with me, I will be available to you this afternoon into this evening for the East Coasters. So to book a reading, just text me 213-458-7408. I will be available from 2 o'clock Eastern. 2 o'clock Eastern. All right. All right, guys. I love you so much. Thank you for putting up with me. And I hope I got through today. Hope somebody heard me. That's all I want is for somebody to hear me. Did you hear me? Can you hear me? Knock, 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 knock. Can you hear me? Thank you. Thank you, Angela. Please subscribe and follow for psychic readings 213-458-7408. In addition to that, everyone, I am back. I'm making a whole batch today of fresh. By the way, you always get the fresh batch. But I literally mean, do you know, I gave Tony my last of the rosemary oil. I gave her what I carry. And she loved it. She goes, you make your hair grow, make your hair grow. Yes, 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 it'll make your hair grow. And I got back home to no rosemary oil. None. I was scraping the bottom of the barrel where I store my rosemary oil. I was scraping it to put it on my hair. So this is the rosemary oil Azon Miracles. And please join my Azon Miracles channel. And I need some testimony. Oh, one of my clients showed me a picture of her hair. Oh, child, growing. Oh my God, I'm so excited for her. Growing. She says, it was so simple. She goes, my hair is growing. I was like, oh, child, it's growing. It's so pretty. The rosemary oil is a gift that keeps giving. So buy the rosemary oil. I love making it. I have healing hands anyways. Okay. I got healing hands. And cooking up this batch is really making folks' hair grow. And I really appreciate y'all buying the oil. So the summer sale is $20. And normally you get 2 ounces of oil because that's all you need. But the summer sale, it's 3 ounces. It might be 4 ounces. I really got to measure what I'm giving away, but I really don't care. I love my product so much. I am giving it away. So it is what it is. And the information, $20 summer sale. Once winter hits, fall hits, I'm going to go back to using these bottles. But right now I'm using a vessel that contains more than 2 ounces. And then, so you're getting more for the money for the summer. Before this, it was buy one, get one free. And you guys, that buy one, get one free. This is very similar to buy one, get one free. It's just in one vessel now. Azon Miracles Rosemary Hair Oil, available for purchase. Go to tracybrownlive.com or look at the HTTPS there. Take you straight to my site. Just want to thank everyone. Also, don't forget I have a gratitude journal on Amazon. Thank you, everyone who's been purchasing the gratitude journal. All right, guys, I love you. And I will see you. Anybody wants a reading for me, just text me, 213-458-7408. All right, I love you. Take it easy. Bye.
Gals and guys, go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Gals and guys.